welcome back to Toyota Sports Talk. It's been a little while, but sweet Lou Holder, back on the program, familiar face. As always, Lou, appreciate you taking the time.
Always, Scott. We family, babe.
We are family. It's always appreciate your time and respect your perspective and thoughts on this Washington Commanders football team. You're at minicamp, you're at OTAs. Does this team look ready for training camp, look ready for the 2023 season?
So I'm standing right there with you, Scott, and I think the word is they looked energized. They looked Eric Bieniemy has brought a sense of energy, urgency. Whether they'll be ready or not, I mean, there's still too many things to navigate through. You and I know it's a marathon and not a sprint. We got to get through the open practices and the joint practice with the Ravens, where you're actually going to be seeing against another team. You can't really tell much from what we're doing out there, but what you can tell is that there is a sense of urgency and a sense of just structure that honestly just wasn't there last year. I don't know if it was the combination of Scott Turner and Ron and Jack Del Rio together. I have no idea. And, you know, we all know that yelling at players is not a novel. We've seen it before. Coaches yell at players, but out on the field in front of the media and fans, we just never heard it like that with Eric Bieniemy. From rookies all the way up to Terry and Jahan, no one was exempt from getting yelled at and getting kicked off the field, right? And he told us why. He said that practice is very, very important. You only have a certain amount of reps. And this man is he's serious about getting everything out of these players that he can. And I think that's refreshing. And that's one thing I can say. They're ready to up their game. I don't know about ready for the season, but they're ready to up their game as an individual man. I think so.
I've been thinking about this dynamic between Eric Bieniemy and the rest of the coaching staff, Ron Rivera, because all that everybody is talking about, you, me, media, Eric Bieniemy being vocal, Eric Bieniemy, you know, the new play calling, the assistant head coach. Do you think, how do you think that room is handling the new addition of Eric Bieniemy? Because obviously Ron Rivera is the head coach, but the media members, we all like to talk about Eric Bieniemy.
Well, I think that the coaching staff wants to win. And I think when you look at the big fat rings on Eric Bieniemy's fingers, you have to say, you know what? We have a better chance of winning. I also know that after everything dies down, I mean, we're only saying this, Scott, because we haven't seen it around here in a while. But after a while, it's just going to become commonplace to hear Eric yelling and Jack Del Rio and everything. Everything's going to settle into place. We know this, right? But for now, right? For now, with the mini camps and the off season, the person who's had the biggest impact is the newest person in the building, which is Eric. But at the end of the day, it's Ron Rivera who's still speaking to us every day, right? There's no joint press conferences between Ron Rivera, Eric Bieniemy, and the media, right? Eric Bieniemy is still an assistant coach and a coordinator that will have his day just like everybody else. And I think it's just one of those things that's just refreshing because we haven't seen it around here in a while. People from top draft picks to undrafted people all getting yelled at because they want it done right. So I don't think the coaches really mind as much because I think they know that behind closed doors, everything's going to work together and they're going to be more successful.
And speaking of this Washington offense, key piece, obviously, the quarterback position. You got Jacoby Brissett, the veteran, but all eyes on Sam Howell. What have you seen from Mr. Howell? Small sample size, but he's getting those reps, Lou.
Yeah, I mean, he can play the position. What we can say, Scott, throughout all of the quarterbacks, you can tell as well as I. Balls aren't flying all over the place. When Carson Wentz was here, they're getting in there. They're zipping in there. Fromm, Howell, Brissett, all of them. But Ron said it. We were sitting right there. Ron said it. He'll be QB1 until he's not QB1. Sam Howell deserves a shot because he was here last year, but Jacoby Brissett looks good.
Defensively, Chase Young. What do you think about this dude? Obviously, you know, it's fascinating to me from a reporter's lens. Like, I look at him as a rookie. He loved to talk. He loved the microphone, long answers, very thoughtful. And now, he's very short, very kind of to the point, doesn't really want to talk. Obviously, that dynamic's changed, and he probably knows this is a big year.
Yeah, I think that the best or the most impactful soundbite that we heard from the offseason was when Jonathan Allen stepped to the podium in front of us and he said, football is a beautiful game, but a horrible business. And I think what's happening right now is, again, that shiny new toy, that first year that was wrecking shop, with Chase Young. Now the business of the NFL, the injuries, the contracts, and everything, as it's done with a lot of players, right? A lot of players has kind of changed the perspective on how they view the media, what they do, right? It affected Deron Payne last year, and I'll never forget that clean-out day when we were sitting there and
two-word answers, one-word answers.
Cam Curl, the same thing this when we interviewed him, you can see where the injuries plus contract negotiations lead to different players.
Yeah.
I think Chase is in the same position as Deron Payne last year, and we'll see how it affects him differently or the same as how it affected Deron Payne. Deron Payne got his bag. Montez and Chase are in the same spot, right? What are you going to do with it? Are you going to mope? Or are you just going to be focused and ball out? We'll see. We'll see.
Well said. Lou Holder, always appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you so much.
Always, Scott. Have a good one, brother.
You too, my man. Much more to come right here on Toyota Sports Talk. Stay with us.